He just bought 5 of the rarest coins in the world at an auction in London for $800,000.
Don't move.
It was broad daylight. You had to see something.
I am not giving him the pictures.
I hope the prison newspaper can use a good photographer.
How could he escape?
Why would anybody want to read about these things in a newspaper? What's so fascinating about old coins, anyway?
Well, not much to me, but maybe to a collector.
Yeah. This was given to me by an old acquaintance of mine, Weldon Gray. You ever heard of him?
He's a rare coin dealer, right?
He just bought 5 of the rarest coins in the world at an auction in London for $800,000.
Well, that's a little out of my price range.
He's given me an exclusive to come over and photograph the coins. I thought we might make a feature story of it.
And you want me to cover it?
That's the general idea. Get over there.
One way or another, I've been fascinated with coins since I was a small boy. These don't mean much to you, do they, Mr. Parker?
Anytime somebody spends close to $1 million for a handful of change, I'm impressed.
Well, it's not just the dollar value here. There's excitement, mystery, romance. If I was wealthy enough, I would never sell any of these coins. I'd keep them all for myself.
Most collectors get caught up like that, I guess.
Well, it's not just the collecting. I fall in love with each coin. With some men, it's painting. With other men, it's money. Of course, with others, it's beautiful women. I certainly don't discount beautiful women. It's my wife. My ex-wife, unfortunately.
Yes, well, maybe you could give me a little of the history of these coins.
Of course. This one here was minted in 1913. It's one of only 4 that were produced in error by the U.S. Mint. The other 3 were What's the matter?
Nothing. I thought I heard it.
I locked that door myself, and I'm the only one who has a key.
Don't move. Now turn your back. Don't look around if you want to stay alive.
All right, get the safe. It was broad daylight. You had to see something.
Just before I was hit, I saw that wall over there. You can check that out.
Peter, how about you?
I saw the same wall and then a terrific view of the floor.
Look, if I had any information about the theft of $800,000 worth of coins, don't you think I'd tell you?
Are you insured?
What's that got to do with anything?
Probably nothing. You saw a hand and a gun. You heard a voice.
And then the voice was muffled.
This is supposed to be an ordinary rob. Why would an ordinary thief disguise his voice?
Or hers. Afraid, maybe, that they might be recognized?
Hi, Lieutenant. Room for one more in here?
Yeah, let her in.
How did you beat me here? News of the robbery just came over the ticker.
Yeah.
You're Julie Masters. I remember you. You covered a coin show that I lectured at once. Mr. Parker was here when the robbery occurred. You knocked him out.
Are you okay?
Oh, yeah. Yes, I am. I just shouldn't nod my head. It might fall off.
Oh, well, don't let that happen. You may need it again.
Okay, Julie, go ahead and take your pictures. I have an investigation to conduct.
Right.
Did you get anything with your camera?
Nothing that I think you can use. I may have gotten one picture of the gun in the hand.
I want it. I want all the pictures you took. Something might show up.
All right, I'll process the film and get you some prints.
I'll be at the paper to pick them up. 5 rare coins were stolen. How would a thief dispose of the coins?
Any collector would buy them.
That's a big help. Okay, Pete, get on those prints. I haven't got much else to go with. Come here.
I'll have them for you in 1 hour.
Everything on the desk.
How you doing?
Maybe too well.
Come again?
I won't be sure until I run off prints, but the negatives show I took a picture I never took.
You know you're not making much sense.
Yeah, well, neither does this extra frame of film. It appears to be a picture of a lady holding a gun.
Hey, maybe that door was open a little extra, and you got a picture of the lady who was about to belch you into dreamland.
No, I would have seen her.
And I don't get it. What does she look like?
I won't know that until I have a print of the picture.
Well, it'll be good news for the gendarmes. The lieutenant is in with Jameson. And one of his troops is waiting outside the door here to pick up your evidence.
Don't tell them about the extra frame of film.
Peter, you're going to hold out on the cops and not tell them about it?
I am not satisfied with how this picture got on my roll of film.
Yeah, but you're sticking your neck out for a lady you don't even know what she looks like.
It's not the lady, and it's not me personally. Somebody is trying to use my job as a newsman to pull a fast one.
How?
I don't know. And I don't want you to know what I'm going to do. I just don't want you involved in this.
Okay. But you're asking for trouble, Peter. And being in trouble all by yourself is a lonely place to be.
How's Flash doing?
Coming along. Coming along.
All right, what gives?
He's still in there. I guess it's taking him longer than he figured.
Parker! What's taking you so long?
He's in there. He couldn't get out without me seeing him.
Okay, Peter, you better get your act together. We're coming in.
He couldn't get out.
While you were awake.
I went to the water cooler, but I kept my eye on the door.
Sure. Whatever game Pete's playing, I set the rules and he's broken them. He cut out of here, taking his film with him. That film is evidence in a felony. I hope the prison newspaper can use a good photographer.
Not exactly flattering. As it happens, it is not me. So I guess I shouldn't complain.
Are you sure?
Would you know the difference if somebody faked a picture of you?
Yes, I suppose I would, but that is a very, very good likeness.
It looks as though someone tried very hard to make it a good likeness, for whatever reason. I was about to have coffee. Would you join me?
Where were you at 10:30 this morning?
I was here.
Can you prove that?
I was alone.
The reason I ask is because it was exactly at that time that your husband was robbed of some coins worth $800,000.
Losing coins would hurt him terribly. Coins to me were simple things that nice people left me for my smiling when I served them coffee. Wish them a nice day. Please, sit down. Coins were kind of happy thank yous. He treated them as though they meant more than people.
I was taking pictures just before the robbery. When I developed my film, that one was the last one on the roll. I didn't take it.
I don't understand. Is somebody trying to frame me?
No, it certainly looks like that, doesn't it?
Yes, I guess so, but who? Why? Are you sure this is for real? Then why aren't the cops breathing down my neck?
Because I didn't give them that picture.
Thanks. But you have to, don't you?
Well, just let me handle that. Now, Mrs. Gray, how do you get along with your ex-husband?
I still like him, but not as a husband.
Does he like you? I'm just asking because I want to find out who would try to frame you.
Well, we had problems in our marriage. He didn't want the divorce. We had a couple of large fights, but they blew over when he realized I wasn't going to stay on display like one of his rare coins.
Okay, well, do you know anybody at all who is about your size and knows you well enough to be able to duplicate your hair and your clothes and who hates you?
I never thought I did anything to make anybody hate me. But I guess I'm wrong.
I don't have any answers. I'm sorry.
Don't try to throw your weight around with me, Lieutenant. I could only assume that Peter Parker had some very good reason for leaving when he did. All right. I'll keep you advised of any further developments. Well, I covered for you.
I am not giving him the pictures. Turning over those prints could do somebody a lot of damage.
Not turning them over can definitely do you a lot of damage. Police will have you in front of a judge in no time. And you know what'll happen?
When I refuse to hand them over, I'll be held in contempt of court.
That's right. And slammed in the slammer.
Look, someone is trying to use me to frame another person in this coin robbery.
Who?
I can't tell you that. I mean, right now, you could honestly tell a judge that you have no information about this. But if I tell you, you'll either have to reveal what I say, or you could face contempt charges, too.
Well, you're willing to risk a jail sentence?
Well, your joining me in jail isn't going to help. I don't have any choice. Not if I intend to back up something I believe very strongly in. That a newsman should be protected by the First Amendment.
I stick to the old-fashioned idea that newspaper people are honor-bound to protect their sources. And to use their judgment in releasing any information they've gathered. I'll back you all the way.
I don't appreciate being called out of my court with a trial in session. Even without this interruption, my calendar is very tight. Please keep in mind I can give you 5 minutes at the most.
Your Honor, Peter Parker is an honorable and honest man. Forcing him to go to jail is a mockery of justice and an attack upon the freedom of the press. It's ridiculous to treat a man as a criminal for doing a job that's vital to society.
Your attorneys have already made those points, Mr. Jameson.
I'm making them again, Your Honor, because I feel very strongly about them.
You're wasting my time.
Well, at least grant us a stay so that we can pursue other legal remedies.
Mr. Parker is in contempt of court. He can remain free if he provides the material which has been subpoenaed. Failing that, he will accompany the bailiff for immediate processing and incarceration. This hearing is at an end.
All right, let's get the ground rules set. Now, you're a newspaper man, so you really think that makes you important.
It's never made me important before. I don't know why I wouldn't jail.
Well, then here you're just the same as everybody else. You get out of line, you get the book thrown at you.
Somehow I get the feeling that newsmen are not your favorite people in the world.
Did you ever read a story about a nice prison guard?
I don't remember. Maybe we could start a new trend.
Strong guys, you use your muscles where you should use brain. I don't see you using your brains to bend this thing. Yes, I did. I used my brains to get you to use your muscles. Now, one of these days, I'm going to bat your brains down into your belly. Oh, no threats, lad. Sort of a team. We're on a win and run. You wouldn't want to spoil it. Right on time. Watch me handle him.
Did an excellent job.
Don't seem like you did. Seen nothing in the newspapers about your ex-missus being clapped in the dungeon for stealing them coins.
That was the fault of that newspaper photographer. I'll handle that another way.
Good. I'd hate to waste my star in performance.
I'd like to talk about me alimony.
Take that thing off, you fool. Somebody will see you.
Keep your hair on, Dolly boy. There's no one around here.
I told you to get rid of that and the clothes.
Did you now? Must have slipped me mind. Remember anything about that, Wiley?
Nothing. I never just remember nothing when money's involved.
Blackmail. Well, it won't work. You guys will get nailed, too.
Call it insurance. Anything went wrong, the coppers might get a package with clothes and hair. Now, me and Wiley, we'd be long gone. But you got roots. You stay in one place, and you'd be right here to answer them penetrating questions the coppers love to ask.
We had a deal. You welshing on it?
Would I do that? I'm just waiting here quiet and peaceful till Wiley and me get our money.
When I get it, you'll get it.
Oh, that's nice.
In the meantime, let me have the coins.
Coins?
They're mine. I want them.
Oh, yeah, them. Sure. You'll get them. Absolutely. Right, Wiley?
If he says something, I always believe him. You better, too.
As soon as that money is in my hand, this hand, right here where I can look at it, count it and enjoy it.
The deal was, you give me the coins when the robbery's completed.
We decided to hold on to them.
I need one coin to do the job that the photographer didn't do. You can keep the other 4.
Out of the goodness of me heart and because I'm a trusting man.
Should I go get one?
Not that trust him. You don't go near that stash while he's here to have a look-see. But we'll get him in your hot little hands quick-like. Good.
It's not visiting hours, but the press interviewing prisoners manages to get special privileges.
Nice of you to visit.
Peter, it's awful.
Well, like the guard told me, have you ever seen a nice jail?
No. It just seems a lot different when you're not involved. It's not the jail. Seeing you in it.
Okay, so it's not the Waldorf.
Well, I wouldn't visit you if this was the Waldorf. After all, I only came here to research the psychology of hardened criminals like you.
Well, actually, I'm still just kind of an apprentice criminal. I'm just learning the trade.
Study and work hard. That's the way to success.
So, did you just come here to encourage me in my life of crime?
No. I came here to tell you that the coin robbery that got you in here may be close to solution, so you might get out fairly soon. Okay. The lieutenant managed to squeeze some information out of Mr. Gray. Now there's a prime suspect, Bonita Gray.
No, I know she didn't do it, but I do have to talk to her.
Well, wouldn't that bring more suspicion on her? You're in here for not producing evidence. I mean, the police would think the evidence related to her. Did it?
Never mind. But you've got a point about the police. I've got to find out
What?
the angle at which a photograph was taken.
Well, I can ask your boss to get the lawyers to make another attempt to get you out of here for long enough to see her. It's a slim chance.
Try it, would you? Right now?
Peter, really, are you okay? I hate to see you in here.
Yeah, well, I'm not too crazy about it myself.
Guard! I think you're a terrific guy. Don't put him on bread and water.
We treat everybody the same.
He's kind of a nice guy.
In here, he's not a guy. He's a number. Show the lady out.
Out of your mind. You shouldn't be seen in my office.
Me mom lets me come and go in the big city all by yourself. Simmer down. Nobody knows me.
Don't go out of your way to irritate me. You don't have that gorilla friend with you now, and I might just decide to take you apart in order to get those other coins.
You wouldn't want to do that, would you? Seeing as we got such a gentleman's agreement. Who'd think it? Worth so few pennies when new and so many dollars now. Did you know I've got gypsy blood in me veins? I'll read you a piece of the future. This little beauty will be found in the possession of Mrs. Gray, what was.
As if it was any of your business.
Why are you so anxious to pin it on her?
She's nothing. She was in a sleazy cafe serving over a filthy counter when I first met her. I made her Mrs. Weldon Gray. Then she left. She walked out on me.
Shocking. Imagine somebody not wanting to stay with a lovable gentleman like you.
Get out. I'll meet you next when I deliver the insurance.
Thank you.
heard about Spider-Man, and I didn't believe it. Now I've seen him, and I still don't believe it.
Well, I gotta look at his face.
Well, better you than me. He was probably furry with 6 eyes.
Don't be a fool. I would swear that was Peter Parker.
Now, would you say that's good or bad?
Gives me a chance to get rid of Spider-Man before he interferes further.
Now, that ain't all bad.
Once I've taken care of my ex-wife.
Lieutenant, if I had anything hidden, I know that your men would find it. I could give it to you before you tore my place apart.
Sure. And Christmas comes on the first and third Sundays of every month.
I read the search warrant. I guess I can thank my ex-husband. I never would have figured he'd go this route.
Just for the record, Mrs. Gray, he's busting his butt to protect you. He didn't volunteer the information that you had the keys to his office.
Okay, he's a nice guy. I don't even know where the keys are. Anyway, you are not looking for keys.
That's right. We have certain information, maybe wrong information, that makes a search seem like a good idea. Of course, you're sure we won't find anything.
Lieutenant, I have not been sure of anything since I was 15 years old, and I'm not about to tell you how long ago that was.
Lieutenant. Taped to the bottom of a drawer.
Recognize this, Mrs. Gray?
Would you believe me if I said I have never seen it before?
No. Look around. There's 4 more of these somewhere. I'm afraid we're going to have to ask you to come downtown. Anything you say may be used as evidence against you. You're not required to answer any questions or make any comments. You're entitled to the services of an attorney.
The way I'm being set up, I don't think an attorney would do me any good.
Let's go.
I'd like to say I admire your photographer. What's his name?
Peter Parker.
Parker's ethical stand on not revealing information, although it probably worked to my disadvantage.
Well, if he'd known who committed the robbery, he certainly would have. He'd have passed on the information.
Well, as a matter of fact, the robbery's been solved. I couldn't believe it, but the police have an airtight case against my former wife. They found a coin in her apartment.
Only one?
She had Confederates. They have the other.
How do you know?
Well, let's say I have reason to believe it.
Come on. You can do better than that.
Off the record?
Of course. I won't print a word without your permission.
Well, I've been contacted to buy back the other 4 coins.
Have you told the police?
No, of course not. The important thing now is to get the coins back. I'm going to deliver $100,000 to the old Stimson warehouse in the Queens tomorrow morning by 7 o'clock. I consider that a bargain.
Can I use the story in tomorrow's late edition?
Not unless the police crack the case first. There's always the possibility that my wife will identify her partners. I hope she does. That way I'll get my $100,000 back.
What are you telling me all this?
Once the case is solved, Parker will be let out of jail. I told you I admire him. I'd like him to have this story, if that's possible.
Ray's ex-wife has been arrested. The police found one of the coins in her possession.
What happened to the other 4?
Ray's buying them back tomorrow morning at 7 at Stimson's warehouse.
A police trap?
No, this is off-the-record information. Ray doesn't want the police to know for fear he might not get his coins back.
He shouldn't have told you that. That puts you in the same spot I'm in.
That's a risk I'm prepared to take. In fact, I don't know any way of running a newspaper without taking that risk.
Look, do you think there's any chance you might be able to get me out of here before any more legal appeals?
We're working on it. With any luck, we should have some news tomorrow.
Yeah, by that time, Gray will have his 4 coins, and Mrs. Gray will have a conviction for armed robbery.
You sound as if you don't believe she did it.
I don't.
Well, I'll keep pressuring the Bugle's lawyers to get you out of her as quickly as they can. You'll hear from me tomorrow.
Okay, 6 o'clock. Eating time.
Oh, looks delicious.
Why not running a gourmet restaurant? Listen. It's not bad once you get used to it. When you finish up, slide your tray under the door and I'll come back later and pick it up. All right?
Thanks.
still think that Peter Parker is Spider-Man.
How does that help us?
Somehow he's escaped from jail without the police knowing. Get to a phone. Make an anonymous call that Parker's escaped.
There's no phone here.
I don't need you to tell me that. Haven't you ever heard of a public phone? Go to a supermarket or a gas station. Now, move!
Go on.
could he escape? I've been here right along. I tell you, he's locked in his cell. Sure, I can check, but it's stupid.
Breakfast was lousy.
Oh, that's a shame. Well, I'll file a complaint with the sheriff. Yeah? Of course he hasn't escaped. What? Now, wait a minute. First you tell me that he got out of his cell, now you tell me you want me to let him out? Oh, he's being released for 24 hours. Okay. His cell will be waiting for him when he gets back tomorrow.
What's the matter with your leg?
Oh, I just twisted my ankle. It's no big deal.
I had to pull every string to get you even 24 hours. The lawyers aren't at all sure that they can get the courts to void that contempt citation.
Well, if I can't get this whole thing cleared up in 24 hours, Benita Gray is going to be in a lot of trouble.
What are you going to do?
I want the Bugle to print a special edition.
Do you realize what that would cost?
I just need one copy of one paper, dated tomorrow.
What do you want me to do?
You know Mr. Gray's coins that were supposedly stolen?
Mm-hmm.
Find out who insured them.
That's easy.
Then I want you to do an impersonation.
That sounds like fun.
Wait a minute. What are you doing with my phone?
Using it.
Hi, Julie. This is Peter.
Hi.
Look, I need your help.
Say what?
I want somebody to think that the press is working on a story, and I don't want it to look like it's just coming from the Bugle.
Is it a legit story?
I'll tell you all about it tomorrow morning. Now, you just act like a nosy reporter from the Register. I think you know how to do that. It'll give it much more authenticity if the story's being investigated by more than one newspaper.
Okay. I'll hang in tomorrow until you call.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Holden Gray here.
Mr. Gray, this is Miss Conrad, Adjustment Department, Armbruster Insurance Company. There seems to be some question as to the authenticity of the coins for which you filed a claim.
No, there is no question. I bought the coins myself. They were examined thoroughly before they were stolen. They're absolutely authentic.
I'm sorry, Mr. Gray, but the story is all over the newspapers, and it'll probably be on the TV news. We'll be forced to hold up payment on your claim until we get conclusive evidence that we are not being penalized financially for the theft of worthless coins.
Failure of Congress to approve the income tax cut must be considered the top story of this morning. In other news, the police announced that they have released Bonita Gray, former wife of coin dealer Weldon Gray. The coin, which was thought to be evidence in the robbery of her former husband, has proved to be a counterfeit, and the case against Mrs. Gray has been dropped. In other news, the Child Abuse Prevention Center.
You remember me, Mr. Gray. I'm Julie Masters with the Register. Do you have any comment on the police report that the coins stolen from you were counterfeit?
They weren't. And I have no further comment.
How do you explain the fact that the only one found by police was definitely counterfeit?
No comment.
Hey, Cork. Let me see the other coins. Well, it'd be my pleasure if you have the money. Take a look at that.
Oh, ain't that the strangest thing ever I seen?
Get me the other coins.
Like I said, I'm a trusting man, but it looks to me like you switched the coin I gave you and planted a counterfeit.
Oh, come on. Don't you think the cops know the difference between a counterfeit coin and a real one?
He's got no reason to plan a counterfeit. His wife's off the hook.
Then what do you suppose happened?
I don't know, but I want to make sure the other 4 coins are real.
Shall I get them?
As soon as we arrange, Mr. Gray doesn't see where the stash is.
Oh, come on. I don't have time to waste.
Oh, really? Well, maybe you can find time if you have no choice. You get off the ship and you wait in the dock.
Why?
Because I don't want you looking and snooping. All right, buddy boy. I'll get the pretties now.
there's your evidence, Lieutenant. Just as Peter Parker said it.
All right, fish that man out of the water and get that guy out of the boat. Looks like your man called it this time.
Yes, it looks as though he did.
Boy, am I glad to see you, Lieutenant. Some lunatic threw me in the boat. Lieutenant?
Book him.
Where's Peter Parker? If those men did anything to him...
Did you get the evidence?
Yes, we got the evidence, all right. And those men are getting prison sentences. And I see the registers getting pictures of all this. What's the Bugle getting?
I guess I got here a little too late to take it.
No, Peter, you have half the pictures I have. I wouldn't have any if it weren't for you.
Well, that leaves me with nothing to complain about. Come on, I'll drive you back to town.
No, I've got my car. I'll take Julie.
Sally told me you were here. There's something I got to tell you.
What's that?
I was pretty upset when you went to the slammer.
Well, how do you think I felt about it?
Hey, stop that. I'm being serious.
Yeah, I know you were. And I do appreciate it.
How did you know Mrs. Gray wasn't guilty?
I don't really know. You know, I never knew anyone who had absolutely no defense at all like that. It's kind of hard to explain, really. Rita, look, you know how I am about filing. Now, I've got to find one here on a guy named Amos Dalton. The file should be about 11 years old. Will you find it for me?
Sure.
Thank you.
Where will you be when I find it?
Home.
I've just been robbed. Now, it's top secret. Secure the terminal.
Yes, sir. I'll help you to a seat.
Secure the terminal now.
Oh, hello, Mr. Jameson. Yeah, I know where he is. I'll call him right away. Yes, sir. Hello, Peter? Rita. The airport's been quarantined.
I know you people got word of the quarantine on the press wire, but this is not a crisis. We have placed one terminal in quarantine because a passenger may, and underline may, have come in contact with a communicable disease. Now, this is just a precautionary measure to determine if, in fact, there is any danger, if anyone has been exposed.
Well, can you identify the disease and tell us the flight's origin?
No, I'm sorry.
Well, how long will the quarantine last?
I don't know.
How many people were on the plane?
The health department officer in charge will be able to answer all of those questions just as soon as he finishes his work.
Oh,
Peter, I'm sorry.
Julie, how come you're only a klutz when I'm taking a picture? If the whole airport is quarantined, why can't we go down and meet the passengers as they're released?
Right. Why do we have to stay up here? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm very sorry for the inconvenience, but we do not want to create a panic. The situation will be resolved in a few minutes, and I have to ask you to please remain here.
You'd think we had the plague. It's the first time I've ever been locked in an airport before.
Why didn't the guy give us more information? The whole thing doesn't wash.
Got anything, Julie?
Nothing much. This place is crawling with security.
Via London is now in confined boarding station at gate 7. Passengers for flight 10
where you go?
Princess got to be behind the rope.
Oh, yes, I realize that, but that's Jim McGann of the FBI. I know him. He wants to talk to me. Okay, Jim, what's going on here?
Peter, you're supposed
Excuse me, are you with the health department? I don't believe we've met before.
No comment.
Well, perhaps you could comment. What is your name, sir?
Peter, I said no comment. All right, let's go.
What was that?
Peter Parker, reporter from the Bugle. Hey, Jim.
How did you get out there?
In a coach pulled by 12 mice.
Funny. Jim again. Why would the FBI be involved in a quarantine situation?
Well, maybe it isn't. Maybe they're just passing through.
Accidents, huh?
You got it? Is that empty? Yeah, figures. Whoever put this one together is probably long gone by now.
Well, I'll open the terminal and we'll keep some heavy security on for a while in the area, just in case.
From London, gate 4. Flight 30 now arriving in London.
When you're not being a klutz, you're really very nice.
When I'm not being a klutz.
Truth?
No, I don't trust you.
Hey, that hurts me. It really does. Peter, I don't think that's at all fair.
Since when have you ever been fair?
Well, it'll be different from now on. See, I had to prove myself. You know, small town girl in the big city, on trial, needing a job. You understand.
I do, and nothing has changed.
Look, the jokes and the flip talk, the competing, I mean, that's part of me. Not the most important part.
It's what I see and what I hear.
I'm not tough, really. I'm not manipulating. I'm not self-sufficient.
Oh, so actually, you're just kind of a cream puff, huh?
You've got to believe me. It matters. I guess I kind of need you to like me.
I do.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? I have good news. The incident is over, and it was no crisis.
What do you mean?
I mean, the passenger we were worried about turned out to have a bad cold. Nothing serious. Again, I'd like to apologize for the inconvenience, and thank you very much for your cooperation.
You believe him?
Like I said, it doesn't wash.
You quarantine the whole airport because the guy has a cold?
Okay, I'll see you later.
Jim, come on.
How about telling me what's going on?
Would you prefer no comment or a lie?
The FBI doesn't get involved in a quarantine, and that guy in there is no health department official. Now, what's happening?
You're wasting time, Peter. Forget it.
That's the girl who took the photograph of me. Stay with her.
My car's in the annex lot. Do you need a ride back to town?
No, thanks. My bike's there, too.
Jump out here. See you later.
All right, follow her.
Off the streets here.
Are you okay?
Yeah, was that those stand there? Find him.
Certainly I know McGann. I also know the other man in this picture. Sergeant Evans from the State Department.
Well, what was he doing with McGann at the airport?
Well, how should I know?
He didn't want to be identified, but he was giving orders. Now, why would the State Department and the FBI both be involved in a simple quarantine case?
Have you tried the Health Department?
Mm-hmm. And they back up McGann. But Rita has a friend she called at the department, and they have never heard of any quarantine.
Well, you may be right. There isn't much to go on.
at the fact that Julie Masters' camera was stolen and then thrown away after the film was removed. Now, somebody was very, very anxious not to have their picture taken.
Government people?
Well, I don't know, but clearly the government was involved.
I've got some connections to the State Department. I'll call them, see what I can find out. I'll get out of here.
Hey, Pete. Still no answer at Julie's. And her editor doesn't know where she is.
Terrific.
So, what about the quarantine at the airport that everybody's pretending didn't happen?
Mr. Jameson is letting me dig into it.
That's great. That's not great?
Well, yeah, it is, but...
Listen, Pete, he has to pay you more money if you write the story. And even if he pays you the stringer rate, why, you could get as much as...
Yeah, I know all that, Rita, but...
But what? Listen, you can always use some extra bread. You borrowed $10 from me yesterday. And now that you're about to get a double paycheck this week, you are decidedly gloomy.
It's just that I'm worried about Julie.
Word's out that that lady can take care of herself.
Not against guys like the one that stole her camera. Okay, Rita, I'll see you later.
Well, where are you going in case Mr. J wants to reach you?
I'm going to hang out at Julie's apartment in case she shows up. Oh. What?
You are the sly one, I'll tell you that.
Rita, cut it out, would you?
Me? Listen, Pete, she works for the competition. That means you are supposed to compete with her. You see, not aid and comfort her. She's the enemy, remember?
Just keep trying to find her, will you?
I have the NATO defense plan. Price? $2 million. Of course I remember my original proposal. Where money is involved, I never forget. I raised the price because the documents are more valuable than I thought. I don't like delays. You trying to stall? I get verification from your government and arrange to have the money delivered by Tuesday. If you can make it any sooner, so much the better. Keep in touch with my office.
Fool's Day.
Waiting around could be dangerous. But we have no choice if we want top price. Let's stay undercover.
I developed it, but it's new film. It's never been exposed. There's nothing on it.
Now, wait a minute. That's the film I took out of the camera. Maybe she didn't take a picture. Maybe she just...
I saw that woman take that picture. Now, we are sitting ducks on $2 million worth of NATO defense plans if anybody sees that photograph.
Does the girl who took it know you?
What difference does that make? The State Department people and the FBI know me. What if they see those pictures? We can assume that this woman is a photographer for a metropolitan newspaper. Find out who she is, where she lives, where she works. I want the negatives and the prints that might have been made from them. The negatives and the prints. No mistakes this time. No excuses.
Right.
Rita, call the State Department. Get me Mike Callahan. See if he can put me in touch with Arnold Evans.
Okay, I'll try to reach him at... Mr. Jameson, when would you like to see Mr. Evans?
What do you mean when? I want to see him as soon as possible.
Walked in to see you, Mr. Jameson, when your secretary said you were trying to reach me.
Yes, it was. Sit down. What do you say to that?
It's not very flattering.
Don't hand me that fairy tale about the quarantine at the airport.
I won't.
You're not going to convince me that you and McGann were prowling around the airport just because some incoming passenger had a slight cold. I wasn't born yesterday, you know. What do you mean I won't?
Some enormously valuable and embarrassing documents were stolen from a courier at the airport. We closed things down as fast as we could, but we were too late. They got away. But you're right. The quarantine was a cover story.
My man Parker saw through that story.
Well, I thought he might. That's why I'm here. I do hope, sir, you're going to put a muzzle on Mr. Parker.
You're asking me to kill a page one story.
That's right.
Sounds like an attempted cover-up of some bureaucratic mess.
Oh, it's a mess. And we do want to cover it up. But it's not bureaucracy. This is national security.
The standard excuse.
That's right. But this time it's more than just an excuse. This time it's a very real crisis. And we do need your cooperation.
All right, you've got it.
Thank you. Now, please keep this discussion strictly confidential. We're contacting the police and other possibly involved persons. They're to keep hands off. We can't risk anyone but police and the FBI getting near this case. I give you my word. If we go public, your paper will get the beat.
All right.
Coming into the building. Probably nothing. No sign of the girl. What about the negative in print? Over.
Got him. I'm going to bind these and then check around and make sure there aren't any others.
You had company while you were out, ma'am. This guy, a two-bit burglar.
Two-bits is about all he could get in my apartment.
These creeps will grab anything they can sell to a fence. You wouldn't believe what they'll steal.
Murphy, this is her pad. Will you let her in? Hi, Julie. I'm afraid there's been an attempted burglary.
I know. I saw your men outside.
I don't think they got away with anything, but you better take a look around.
Sofa, chair, plant. I could check the cupboard and see if the pancake flour is still there. Horrific. I've lived here 3 days, and already I'm ripped off. What are you doing here?
I was just driving by. What's happening?
Some guy just ripped off my plate.
You're kidding. Well, did they take a lot of stuff?
I don't think so.
Julie, do you think maybe I...
Oh. This is Peter Parker. He works for the Bugle.
We know each other.
Lieutenant
Murphy, come on.
Is this walkie-talkie yours?
I never saw it before.
Unusual. A cheap rip-off artist doesn't stay in touch with an outside man.
Maybe I just attract a better class of burglar.
Excuse me, what are these ashes here?
Looks like burned photographs. Or melted film.
I didn't burn anything.
Did you have any pictures in here that anybody might want destroyed?
I can't imagine what.
Why would this guy take time to set a fire? Are you sure there isn't something embarrassing or incriminating?
Mm-mm.
Wait a minute. This morning at the airport, you were taking pictures. Have you developed them yet?
Yes, and made a proof sheet. But they weren't important or significant. The negative and the sheet are gone. I guess that's what's left.
Were you one of the reporters covering the airport quarantine?
Yes.
Like you say, it's probably nothing. Just some kook gets a kick out of setting fires.
Well, no. Wait a minute, Lieutenant. You said yourself that the use of a walkie-talkie is very unusual. I mean, there's more to it than that. You see, these pictures were taken at the airport. Now, Julie's camera was also stolen at the airport. The FBI was involved, and so was the State Department. Don't you see? It all fits. Everything is connected to the airport. On top of that...
Peter, the airport is out of my jurisdiction. I don't know anything about it.
Well, yeah, I know that, but... Well, I just thought maybe you could check it out.
I'll touch base with the detectives. Don't hold your breath. Julie, you get this back after the trial. Ciao.
Noticed something kind of strange about Martinez when I mentioned the airport.
Yeah, he really lost interest.
Oh, I don't think so. I think he gained interest and was covering it up.
Why?
I don't know. Let's just say I've got a hunch, and if I'm right, you could be in a lot of trouble.
That's ridiculous.
Look, why did they steal your camera? Why did somebody break
By
in here
the way,
and burn your...
How did you know my camera was stolen? You weren't with me.
Cop told me about it at the airport.
Yeah, well, it still doesn't mean I'm in danger.
Julie, the man who stole your camera wasn't a thief. He threw it away. What he wanted was the film.
Could be. The police found the empty camera and returned it to me.
Okay, then you just stay put until I figure this whole thing out.
Now, look, Peter, if you think I'm
Just
going
don't
to
let anybody in this apartment that you don't know.
Nobody is going to hurt me. You've been taking panic pills.
You've been taking stubborn pills.
Goodbye, Peter.
Are you absolutely sure that there was nothing on that burned-out film that anybody else might
Nothing. Shots of the airport manager, the plane on the ground, one of the guards. Who care about any of that? Goodbye again, Peter.
I tell you, Carl guaranteed the film was burned. Are you afraid the police will make Carl talk?
Well, the worst that can happen is that he'll be sentenced to a few months in jail, and after that, well, he'll collect $500,000 for keeping his mouth shut. That's a girl. The girl who took the photograph of me. She saw me.
But she doesn't have the picture anymore.
She saw me. She knew I was there. The authorities have a look at the mug books. She'll find me and identify me.
She will not identify you.
Who's there? Who's there?
say is I'm going to have to keep an eye on Julie while I'm digging into this story.
The activities of a rival photographer are not my concern, and they shouldn't be yours. Let the register handle it. I've got another assignment for you.
Earlier today, you agreed that I should cover this story. What happened to change your mind?
I followed through on the airport situation with my contacts. The authorities are handling the matter. In the meantime, you're going to cover the opening of the flower show.
You've got to be joking.
Yes?
Telephone call for Peter.
Since when does he get calls on my phone?
Oh, that's all right. I'll take it. Hello?
I just wanted to tell you that I stopped taking stubborn pills.
Julie, what's happened?
I think somebody tried to break in.
Look, don't take any chances. Just call the police.
I have. They're on their way. I just wanted to apologize to you. Oh, they're here now. Everything is okay.
All right. Take care. Another attempted break-in, Julius. Now, do you believe me, or do you need an affidavit?
I don't care. I want you to get over to that flower show.
Okay, just as soon as I can. But for now, I'm going to Julie's, just to make sure everything's all right.
I don't pay you to go to Julie's.
Checked everything, Julie. No sign of a prowler.
I didn't just imagine somebody tried to break in here.
Well, I didn't think you would. But whoever it was had a chance to leave before I got here.
Great. What do I do now? Wait for him to come back?
Well, we're hoping he doesn't, but you can always call us back again. The only thing is, I'm afraid I just can't stay here.
I understand.
I'll take another look around outside before I leave. You make sure you keep your door locked.
Thanks.
Murphy, come on.
City desk, please.
I could, but what if you have some friends who come in while I'm gone?
Oh, good point. Look, I'm grateful. I'm also kind of at a loss for words. I mean, I know you're Spider-Man, but being face-to-face sort of blows my mind.
Just make sure that after I'm gone, all your windows are locked as well as your door.
So I can't spend my whole life locked up in here.
If you don't stay in here, you may not have much more life.
I can't even get in touch with anyone. The phone is dead.
It'll be fixed.
Well, thanks. For what it's worth, I'm too scared not to be careful.
Did have her, but she got away.
I don't pay you to call me with excuses.
But I couldn't help it. Spider-Man stopped me.
If you can't handle a job, hire someone to help you, but I want that girl taken care of.
Okay.
Who's there?
Peter.
Are you alone?
Yeah, I left the butler downstairs with my footman and chauffeur.
Want to know something? I'm really glad to see you.
Want to know something? I'm glad to hear that. But, Julie, you're trying...
Some character came in through the window and grabbed me before I knew what was happening. Then Spider-Man shows up out of nowhere and scares them off.
Really?
Yeah, well, the question is, what do I do now?
Well, what we've got to try to do is figure out who is trying to get to you and why.
I've tried.
Okay. Let's start with what we know. Now, it figures that somebody wants a picture that you took, most likely from the airport. You must have taken a picture of the man who's after you.
I told you, the only pictures I took at the airport were of the plane that was quarantined, the airport manager... Hey, the guard!
What guard?
All right, this sounds crazy, but when you shoved my arm, I took a picture of a guard, and he didn't seem to want to have his picture taken. Suppose he really wasn't a guard.
Yeah, that could be, but you don't have the picture anymore. Do you remember what he looks like?
I think so. Well, let's go back to the airport and look for him.
If he was a phony, he wouldn't still be at the airport.
Probably not.
But we could go down to the newspaper morgue and buzz through some mugshots. Maybe you'll spot it.
Okay.
Now, look, if we don't get a lead on this character, you have got to hold up here.
If I wasn't so scared, I'd argue with you.
I don't believe it. For once, we agree.
Julie, wait!
Lieutenant Martinez, please. This is an emergency. I told the police that Julie was kidnapped. They say they've got to wait for the kidnappers to make a move. I don't know, a ransom note or something.
That's customary procedure.
But this case is different. Government agencies have been involved in a cover-up right from the start. Now, you've got enough muscle to get to the bottom of this. You've got to help Julie.
I don't have that much muscle.
Mr. Jameson, a girl's life is at stake.
The government has put on the clamps. I was approached by the State Department and asked to keep this very quiet. National security. The FBI is carrying the ball.
They're looking out for government interests. I'm looking out for Julie.
Well, obviously, all the agencies will try to help a kidnap victim.
Yeah, so long as it doesn't interfere with national security.
If you've got any information, I'll pass it along to the FBI.
No, I told the police everything I know.
Then we're stymied.
No, wait, there's one lead. There's one lead that we haven't followed yet.
Huh? What's that?
The guy in jail. The guy who broke into Julie's.
The police questioned him for hours. They got absolutely nothing on him.
That's right, so why keep him there?
Are you suggesting that any criminal who refuses to talk should be released from jail?
What if the Bugle were to put up his bail money?
That's ridiculous.
It's our only chance. He's out of jail. I'll follow him, and maybe he'll lead me to Julie.
The Bugle's not about to throw away $5,000 on some criminal who'll undoubtedly jump bail. He'll figure out he's being released so he can be followed. He'll lose you and refuse to go near any of his associates.
But Julie has been kidnapped. She could be killed.
But call her paper. Let them put up the bail.
and maybe get a beat on the story if the kidnappers are captured.
I guess my better judgment. Give me the accounting department.
Very good news. As you know, I was unhappy about having to wait until Tuesday. I can deliver the papers this afternoon. You have the money ready? Wonderful. I'll see you in an hour. We're clearing out. Check the apartment, make sure there's nothing there to connect us.
What about her?
She could identify us. A situation you'll have to correct.
Right.
Who's there?
Carl, open up.
How did you get out?
Bailed, you put it up, didn't you?
No, you were
Set up by who?
You followed.
No, I was careful.
Of course you were followed. Why else would they let you out?
No chance. I was real careful to see that nobody followed me. In fact, I wore this. Nobody would know me.
I'm not even going to talk to you. Get rid of her. We're clearing out fast.
is office 7241 of the Empire State Building. Tell the police there's a kidnapping in progress.
Thanks. Please get me loose before any newspapermen show up. I've got to get my camera. Hey, what are you doing? I need the pictures.
Okay. Here, I'll take these off your feet.
Yeah, you should be all right now.
Oh, wait, finish up.
Here come the Marines. You'll be all right.
Hey, why did you take those pictures? I need them. Who's going to get them?
Absolutely sensational. This is page 1. I don't know how you did it.
Well, to tell you the truth, Spider-Man took that picture and he gave it to me.
I don't care who took it as long as we can use it. That's a great job.
As a matter of fact, if it hadn't been for Spider-Man...
Well, it doesn't really matter. I'm only interested in the end results. On the other hand, are you trying to tell me that you couldn't do your job if it weren't for Spider-Man's help? Why am I paying you?
For pictures, Mr. Jameson. Just like the one you have right here in your hand. Right, Pete?
Right.
Man, you left yourself wide open in there. A few more seconds, Jameson would figure out some questions you might not want to answer.
Like what?
Oh, I don't know. Would you like me to try and think of some?
Nothing.